The Big D and Bubba Weekly Podcast.
Big D and Bubba, they have a show 5 days a week, but they don't get to say everything that's on their mind, so they have an extra one, and that's how we get the podcast, the podcast, the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Big D and Bubba podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba's podcast.
And
look at all that canvas you got right there.
Yes! So we had Morgan Wade in the other day, and she was talking about how Big D was completely tat-free.
And look at all that canvas you got right there.
I'm so hoping that would be the goal this week.
Yeah.
Yep, it made it. It made it.
Well, you know, she's not wrong, is she?
She could have said it about me, but I didn't offer up that I was tat-free, so I'm glad it was you.
Thank you to O'Reilly Auto Parts, our friends at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. They are the sponsors of the podcast once again this week, and we just wanted to send much love their way.
We are excited, man. We have a guest.
What?
Patrick would like to introduce
so
our
this
special.
is Missi Gallimore, who is like a legend in this town, on Music Row and in the music industry. And she was here, we think about 4 weeks ago. When was Sam Williams here? About 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, I
He came on
guess
the
so.
show. Yeah. And Missy is Sam's manager. So she was hanging out in the green room, and she was telling stories to me and our friend Donna from the record label. And I was just like, you think you might want to come in on the podcast?
Yeah,
and
good stuff.
Tell us some stories about working with Charlie Pride and Billy Cheryl and you know, I don't know, pitching songs to Tim McGraw and Keith Urban and whatever else. So
it's an interesting job.
Yeah,
it's a weird kind of.
You're a manager now, but you used to be, or you still are. Your real, fame is from doing A&R. So,
and what is A&R?
Right.
That is like where you go and you discover people and work them into stardom? I have no idea.
Well, for me, A&R is just basically like just finding songs. You know, you're in contact with all the publishers and the writers, and you have all these connections that way. And you find songs, and you're kind of like the gatekeeper between the artist and the publishers. And you get the artist, the songs, and you kind of filter through a lot of songs before you choose which songs to go to the artist. But then there's also A&R people that work at a label that are, a lot of things involved with A&R is finding
the artist.
Defining the artist and getting them signed and things like that, which I do too. But, I started in publishing, and then it kind of like my husband Byron kind of got way too busy producing, and so he's like, "Hey, why don't you just start looking for songs for me?" And it was with Tim. It was the Everywhere album for Tim is when I first started really like listening for songs. So I found all the songs for that.
How many songs do you listen to?
You said you found all the songs for that? What do you mean?
Was it
They
12
went through you before they ever got to Tim?
Yeah.
Wow.
So how many songs do you bring to Tim for him to end up with 12 songs?
Ooh, there's a lot, but it's through the process of a year to 2 years of me just. Tim's like always looking. Tim is never not looking. Kind of like the same thing with Keith. You're just they're just always looking. So I'm just always constantly pitching them songs. And the good thing about Tim and Keith is that if they are really really into a song and like they're 8 months away from cutting or a year away from cutting, they will cut that song, and they're just true to their word. If they love a song, they're going to go in and cut it. Mm-hmm. Now there has been times where it's been on hold for a while, and then they'll let it go. But Tim is really really good at that. If he
because sometimes a song gets put on hold and then they end up not recording.
It's on hold for 2 years, and that's
on hold. That's like calling dibs on a song, right?
That's calling dibs on a song, and holds, 3 or 4 years ago used to really, really mean something. Now it's a little looser term. There's also like you'll go to a publisher and they'll go, okay, we're going to play a song, but it's got a little toehold. And I'm like,
what's a toehold?
What in the world is a toehold? Tom from Sony? What, and it's like, what is the difference between a hold and a toehold?
Did you just call somebody else out by name? I like that. Okay.
Hello, Tom. We're talking about you, Tom.
Oh,
You know who you are, Tom.
So a toehold, does that mean they have dibs or no?
That means that it's a toehold means that the artist has probably not heard the song yet, that someone at the label has probably put the song on hold, and it's probably been on hold for 6 months before it ever gets to the artist, and it's got a toehold because the artist hasn't heard it yet.
I'm just picturing somebody with their toe
on
sheet
got a little
music.
toehold. It's
on
funny.
top of it, just on the desk.
They have a whole
Like
department.
It's like a little toehold.
If I put
people
my
with toes.
toe on a song, nobody would want that song.
Right.
They're like, oh, he touched it with his toe.
How many songs do you think people send to you, like say in a week, a month? Or
Oh, probably. Gosh, I probably listen to 50 songs a week. I listen
Like
to a
50
lot of
new
songs.
songs that
50
nobody's
new
Yeah, I
ever
get
heard
50.
of.
Wow.
Yeah, from publishers here in town, from writers that I haven't heard. People just always are randomly pitching me things, but I go through I can listen to songs really, really quick because I know exactly what Tim's going to say. I know exactly. I know what Keith is looking for. So now it's gotten to the point where I can. Oh God, I probably shouldn't say this.
No, go ahead.
But it's like I can listen. I can get like 2 lines into a song, and I can already not going to work.
Yeah.
2 lines into the song.
Well,
and I
if
can
you're
kinda
listening
know.
to
Well, yeah,
50
if you know,
Yeah.
and you're specifically, if you're looking for those guys, you know what they're going to do
Yeah.
and what they're not going to do.
And what I was going to say too is if you're listening to 50 new songs that you've never heard of in your life, you don't have a whole lot of spare time to listen to 5 minutes of a song.
I always thought I would want to do A&R and do that specifically on the publishing side and listen to songs. But now I'm sitting thinking about listening to 50
It's a lot.
completely new songs that I've never heard before.
And not
week.
every baby is cute.
No,
No,
y'all. We
I mean,
lie and we
yeah.
say babies is cute, but I've seen some ugly babies.
Yeah, you got
And
to
I
hear
have
that
heard
song and
some
go, ooh.
ugly songs.
And the hardest thing is when a writer is sitting in front of you pitching their songs, and
How's your poker face?
you have to go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I really like it, but it's just really not what we're looking for right
My
now.
favorite-
And it's like they're babies, and it's just like they're just so deflated. They
My
just-
favorite is the industry standard. They'll play an album for you. They do that. It's the weirdest things. And we never talk about this on the air, but like they'll have like an album release thing, and you go to this event, and they literally will put the album on, and you have to listen to it in a group of like 30 people.
Or sometimes more.
Yes.
Or
sometimes
Yeah.
worse, less. Like only
Yeah.
like 12 people.
So-
so yeah, everyone's
Or
looking
worse,
around.
when
and
they bring it here.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
true,
just the
too.
4 of us. And
yeah,
say,
hey,
you want,
we're going to play this for
And
you.
then you just have to do this.
Everybody does
The head
that.
bob.
Everybody's got the head bob.
Yes.
So we know a guy, Carson and I know a guy whose head bob is just obnoxious. Obnoxious. Everybody in the room's got this thing going. We're sitting in a room with it was a Warner Brothers thing. So John Esposito's there, and he's got a real kind of cool, like slow, all the people from the record label have their own version of this thing going. And there's a guy that we know, and he's all
yeah, over the
just
top.
over the,
Crazy.
I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, no one's buying.
For every
No one's-
song?
Every song.
It
Every
was an
note.
entire album where they made us listen to. And we couldn't even, look, the music was good. The art, it was great. All I could think of was this guy just having convulsions over there.
Watch
have
out
a-
for the head bob.
I have a weird time like during those things like with eye contact because I don't want to look at anybody. I'm like,
So awkward.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
So
It's like
awkward.
That's why people do the head bob. Hard to make eye contact with somebody.
You got
when
your
you're in a
eyes
good
shut.
group.
I'm
Yeah.
closing my eyes because I'm concentrating. I don't want any outside forces.
I was at a thing the other day though. It was at night and it was before dinner and I was tired and I closed my eyes and I was like, oh, I'm gonna fall asleep. Last thing you want to do is be the guy who falls asleep like Bubba in a meeting. Okay, Bubba used to fall asleep in big.
I would not
meetings,
fall
corporate
to
meetings.
sleep. I wouldn't
Silly.
fall asleep. I would go to sleep.
Yo, he would go to sleep. It was
Two
intentional.
different things. Yes, I was very open and blatant about it. I mean, why would I hide it? I hate meetings. Meetings are the worst.
So what's a song that you heard and immediately like you knew in 2 lyrics or lines that it was the
Oh
his?
Lord. Okay, there's a couple. Live Like You Were Dying.
Yeah.
I know exactly. There's so many songs where I know exactly where I was the minute I heard the song.
Tell the story of Live Like You Were Dying. I know there's some backstory
Yeah, there's
to
some
how you got
backstory
that
there.
to Tim.
So there, I remember right where I was. I was getting on Interstate to So Craig Wiseman and Tim Nichols wrote the song. And so Craig Wiseman's publisher at the time, Chris Oglesby, who was at Craig's publishing company at the time, not at BMG. Oh, no, he was at BMG. Yeah. So he's like, hey, I just heard a song that Craig wrote that I think you probably want to get by to the studio like right now and hear this song. So I was getting on the exit at Demumbrium. And I'm like, oh, and then back then it was like I was like so competitive, and it was like always competitive. I got to get the song first before somebody puts it on hold, and I would do whatever. And so I just whipped that car around and drove to the studio called County Q. Do y'all remember County Q? It was in Berry Hill, and that's where like a lot of the demos and things were cut. And so Craig was in there, and I'm like, hey, Craig. He's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, Chris called me and said, you've got a song that I probably need to hear for Tim. And so I heard it at the studio. So this all happened within an hour. So I heard it at the studio. I'm like, oh, well, okay, Craig, I got to get this to Tim. I immediately called Tim, and I'm like, Tim, I just heard this song, Craig Wiseman. You got to hear it. And the album was all pretty much done, and I sent it to him. Call me back. And he's like, I'm cutting it. Go in the studio. We cut it, and
I mean, it's one of the biggest records, but the perfect artist like that.
Yes.
Anyone could have had a hit.
Yes.
I could have sang "Live Like You Were Dying" and cracked the top 60.
Yes,
like that song was just so big,
and it's still today. Still, when you hear it today, and I just remember. Like Ronnie Dunn and people like that would hear the song and they would go, man. They were talking about Tim at the time, and they would say, man, the monster's in the runway or something like that. I was like, what does that mean? But Tim is the most. I mean, yeah, I can pitch him songs, but he is a great song guy. He's just.
He's really good at being able to take any song and make it his own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the same way with Keith. There's not a lot of artists that still do that. I mean, you've got the Kennys and the Keiths and the Tims and, the people like that they still cut great outside songs. Mm-hmm. And I think for a new artist coming up, I think it's very smart that you keep an open mind about outside songs and cutting outside songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear guys on their second, but usually it's their third album, and I hear some of these guys go, yeah, I had to really have a conversation with myself about outside songs, and then I realized we need to just...
An outside song, so the songs that you didn't write.
Yeah, because a lot of the new artists now start out writing songs or co-writing, with a lot of the big elite Nashville songwriters.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you start to go, am I really getting the best songs I can get?
No.
Or is there somebody...
No.
I like
you're
how
not.
she just
No.
said, no, you're not.
No,
No.
I mean, it's like saying, I'm only going to eat my cooking.
Yes.
To think that you're the only one who can do a really good fried catfish, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah. The new artists that are smart enough to realize that, hey, I'm so open to an outside song and cut outside songs are the ones that win, in my opinion. And Sam is one of them. Sam is like, there's a song on his album called Kids. He did not write. Keith is featured on that song, and I'll tell you a story about that song. Keith almost cut that song. Do y'all know that song?
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that whole.
Keith almost cut that song.
We're talking about Sam Williams.
Yes,
by the
Sam
way.
Williams. So Keith almost cut that song and didn't cut it. So the song laid around for probably a year, 2 years. And I'll tell you a story about that. So we were driving around on a Sunday afternoon, and Sophia said, hey, she's like, whatever happened to that song, Kids, that Keith was going to cut? She's like, I love that song. And I'm like, let me listen to that song again. Played the song. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play this for Sam. I'm like, he'll probably text me back and say he hates it. And I sent it to him. He immediately texted me back and said, oh, my God, I love this. And he was smart enough to go in and cut it, outside song. Mm-hmm. And we got Keith on it because Keith loved the song, almost cut it, but it was a little too young for him. So kind of like that's the story.
Is that also part of the thing where artists are aware of how old they are and what the song is, the age of the song, or what the character in the song?
Right, the character in the song.
Yeah. That's good because I always hate that. You hear like an older artist and it sounds like they're creeping on some teenage girl.
And that's hard. I mean,
I've heard that.
Yes.
it's really hard. I mean,
I don't want to name names, but I've heard that song.
See,
And I'm
that doesn't bug me because again,
Oh
I
God,
think
I hope it's not one of
No,
my
it's
acts
not.
that I'm.
No.
I was going to say I think it doesn't matter if it's a good song and the artist can sing the heck out of it. I don't care who sings
No,
it.
Yeah, no,
I'm
so
totally
does it.
opposite.
I'm
Sometimes it does.
opposite. I'm
Yeah.
opposite.
I
Okay,
do.
so if Luke Bryan's singing a song about going pick up girls,
Yeah, but he can still
even
get
though
away with
but
Okay.
what I
Luke
was going to
Bryan
say
in
is
15 years. I
All
don't
right.
know if he can get away with
Do you,
that.
can he get away? Could he get away with "Shake It for Me, Girl"? Shake it for me, girl. Now,
Yes, but I don't
I
know
don't think
about.
so.
I don't know.
Carson, what do you think?
You know my love for that song. I love that song so
Side
much.
note, have you guys ever seen the video of Carson shaking it during the Luke Bryan concert? I've never seen Carson dance. Carson was losing her mind.
I don't
It
dance
was one of those
often.
things where I was taking a picture of like another friend, and in the background, I noticed somebody was just going wild, and I went, "That's Carson." Yeah.
But the thing is, it's because that song, I will say, helped to craft Luke's vibe.
Yes.
So because of his persona now, it's a weird thing to say, could he cut it now? Because he's already crafted the establishment. But if you go back to some and, you know, if there's a song that ages them, or frankly, if there's a song that the production feels a little too modern, and you're like, sir, you are 50. Like, calm down. There are some that just don't mesh for me.
see, and I don't know. I don't have a problem with that.
Some people can get
that's
away
interesting.
Yep.
with it. Okay, but not everybody can get away
like
with it.
anybody. Dina Carter, I found that was kind of an interesting one because I thought Strawberry Wine to me she was too young. If you want to say that, I
I never
that
thought
one-
that. I never thought that.
She singing it
he's
now
right.
is different.
He's right though, because when I heard
Yeah.
that song, I was like,
Did you pull over on the road?
No,
was
what-
that like a pull over on the road?
no, what was that?
when you heard song?
1996. So I was like 16 years old. So that song, she was in her late 20s. It made sense to me that she was singing it. Now, if I had been in my early 30s, I go, what's a 20-something-year-old doing singing this song? It's a little too
Yeah.
nostalgic
Yeah.
for that. I'll give you an example on the other side, The Color Pink. So there's a song that some friends of ours wrote, Jordan Walker and Johnny Mcguire. They were a duo, and they never cut this song. It's a song they played on our show. It was huge, and it has 1 million views on YouTube of them playing it here. But they never recorded it. They had a deal with a BBR or BMG. And well, yeah, because they're like two dudes, 25 and 26, and they didn't have any kids. And the song's about having a daughter.
Yeah.
And it didn't make any sense. Like, it wasn't believable, these two 25-year-old guys singing
and
that
I thought
song.
they did such a great job with
They
it.
did a good job singing
But
it
it just
vocally.
isn't-
They did a good job because they wrote it and they sang it well. But it would have been better if, like, Justin Moore or somebody
Yeah,
who
that
could
has kids
make
that
that
can relate.
believable.
Believable.
Could
Yeah.
Here, give it to Thomas.
By
Rhett
the way, I'm going
and
to send
just-
you
Yeah.
that song.
If
I'm
you
not,
get
I don't
into-
represent them, Missy, but I'm sending
Yeah.
you that song because you should play it for Keith. It's that good.
Send
I'm
it to
just
me.
saying, it is.
Well, see, look, send it to me. You never know.
I didn't even think that wasn't my motivation, but now that I think of it, I'm like, I'm gonna send it a song.
Well, like Patrick talked about on Music's Greatest Mysteries,
Yeah.
which is a show on Access that we've all contributed to. And you talk about Trisha versus Leanne on How Do I Live? And that Leanne Rimes, I think, just didn't have the life experience
They didn't believe it.
to have been evocative
Yeah.
of that emotion.
Yeah.
The movie producers were like, it's like a 15-year-old kid. I don't believe this.
Yeah.
It's still. I think it was the pronunciation. That was my only issue with that. I love Leanne. You guys know I love her. Like even the what is it? The Coyote Ugly album was awesome. But she would say, "How do I leave?" in that song.
drives
I
Just
don't
the
remember that.
pronunciation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I leave without
And it just always, it never sat well with me. And again,
That's
I
what
love,
it was.
I love
Great.
her.
We
That
didn't
was
even
fine.
mention that on the TV show. We should have been like somewhere a producer sitting in West Hollywood going,
Yeah.
"Is she
I think
still
Bubba
leave?"
did mention it. I don't think they used it, but yeah, he did
Cutting
mention
room
it.
floor.
Yeah.
You know what?
He
That's
did.
right. There's no way you
Yeah.
sat through an interview
Yeah, there's no
about
way.
that song without bringing it up.
Yeah, he did. He did bring it up. Are there songs that you passed on that went on to do really well, and you're like, man, I missed that, or do you just kind of go, hey, that's the
I
way it
should have
goes?
listened to one more stanza.
Let me think.
I mean, you can't bat. I mean, the thing is, you can't bat 1,000. I mean, as great as you think you are, you're going to miss some.
There was a song that I didn't pass on. Tim passed on it. I sent it to him. So I'm like, okay, I did my job. I sent it to him.
Yeah, it's your fault.
And it's like a lot of times it's like, look, I don't know about this song. I'm sending it to you because you need to be the one to pass on it, not me, because I'm real unsure about it. But it was the Lee Bryce song, the truck song.
I drive your truck.
I drive.
Oh yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pitched that to him, and it's like, oh boy, I knew, and there's another song I just can't think, and there's so many.
Well, I know a song that Tim passed on, but that he had you send to somebody else.
Who?
I think it was called "Breathe." Was that?
Oh,
isn't that a song?
okay. I got a story
Tim
for
McGraw?
that. Yes. Okay. Well, so my husband was in the process of cutting Faith for the This Kiss album. I think Breathe was on. Nope. Was it Breathe and This Kiss together on
I
that
think
album?
so.
I
Was
thought
it?
so, yeah.
Like 90%
Look it
sure.
up and see. I'm not sure, but that song was originally like pitched to me just in general from a songwriter by the name of Holly Lamar and Stephanie Bentley. And they're like, we get the song. I don't know. Just listen to it. And let me know what you think. And I think, oh God, I love this. I think Tim could do this. It was a female singing it. I think it was Stephanie Bentley singing it. And so Faith was at the house recording, and Tim was hanging out with Faith. And I'm like, Tim, come here. I want to play you something. And we went out to my car, and I played it for him. And he's like, God, I love this, but you need to play that song for Faith. And so that's how that went down. I played it for Tim first, and he's like, no, it's really not me, but you need to play it for Faith.
Yeah.
So
that's like a career song.
Career.
That's one of those where the right person.
Huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I could not picture Tim in that video doing what Faith did.
No,
No, boy,
no.
but that'd be something to see.
No. So that was, yeah. And then another story of how persistent I am when I hear a song that I absolutely love and like they keep passing on it. So there's a song on Tim's album, and I can't remember which one. It's called When the Stars Go Blue. Do y'all remember that song?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I pitched that song to him 10 times before he finally realized, I don't know, maybe I should really listen to this and cut this song. So it's like I'm always like real persistent on songs that I really, really like truly believe in. I just keep bringing it up, bringing it back.
Tell us about "Blue Ain't Your Color," because that is a unique song. That's not something that I think anybody else in town could have got away with as a single.
It was that was just from a random pitch from Nate at Corman, Nate Lowry from Corman Music, and it was on a snow day, and I was at home, and I was just listening. I had just started listening to songs for Keith, and he had already cut the majority of his album, and I was like, how am I going to find songs for Keith? Because his album's pretty much done. I was just like, God, this is going to be really hard, because he brought me in late. That was the first album I started A&R, and he kind of brought me in late. A lot of the stuff was already done. And so I was at home one day. It was a snow day. The kids were home, and I was just, tons of songs, listening through, bam, 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 bam. And that song came on, and I just was like, oh, something just... And I like to listen to songs, and I like to be busy while I'm listening to songs, so that way...
So it's background, like
It's
the way people
background.
listen to it.
Yes, and it just caught my attention. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So I went back and I listened to it again, got it to Keith, and I don't think any of us knew that song was going to be that big for Keith. I think, he cut it, and it was like, yeah, this is really cool, but it wasn't,
Yeah, I think I remember him saying at the number one party after the song had
Yeah.
gone number one that he didn't think that was gonna. He really wanted it in the album.
Yeah.
But he didn't really think it was
Yeah.
gonna be that big of
Yeah,
a hit
and
on
it was
radio.
like one of his biggest songs.
Yeah.
And I remember
yeah.
the writers at the number one party that they were talking about how much they loved the song, and one of them had wanted to record it, and they said the only artist we'll give it to is Keith.
The only
that's
artist
right.
I would give this song to is Keith Urban. So a smart song plugger was like,
Yeah.
let me get that song in Missy's hands. for
Who
Keith
was
Urban.
the artist? Oh, gosh. He's a writer artist, and I can't think of his name right now. It's leaving me. But
And I know too, and it's drunk,
yeah, that was. I mean, Keith is the artist that knows exactly what he wants. He is the most focused artist and knows exactly songs. I mean, he's so just brilliant in that way. and he's
Do you think-
hard.
do you
He's
think
hard to
that's-
pick songs for.
Do you think that's learned, or is it something that he's just?
I think that's learned.
naturally
I
good
think
at?
I don't know. I think it's probably through the years. He just has honed in on what he wants to do, and he's always trying. And here's another thing that I think a lot of young artists don't do these days is they don't raise the bar from the debut album to the sophomore album to the next album. It's like Tim and Keith, they're like so good at that, of like raising the bar each time with each new album.
Well, it's hard. It's not
Well, it's
easy.
hard
Really
because
hard.
you want to do. By the way, it was Stephen Lee Olson was the
That's
guy who wanted
it.
to cut
Yes.
the song.
Yeah.
That you want to keep doing what people already know you for. Like you're an artist. you
It's
know,
easy to sound the same every
Yeah.
album because that's what people expect.
Yeah.
right? But you can't. So you can't come out and totally flip it and do something completely different
It's a fine
because
line.
your
Yeah.
audience isn't gonna know that doesn't even sound like a whoever song. But you got to just change it a little bit.
You know who else is good about doing that is Lee Bryce. I give him a lot of props because
exactly.
he does the same thing. He knows exactly who he is. I don't know if you've ever worked with him or not, but every album, they sound very different than the album prior, but they're also, you can tell that he knows exactly what kind of song he wants.
He's a great writer, a great artist, and I feel like he just under the radar. It's just like, he's so good. He needs to go to that next level. I feel like, and I don't know. I could be wrong, but
No, there's always those guys that just kind of
yeah.
low key getting 10 number ones.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
what's
Yes.
great about Lee, though, because he'll come out with that song and you're like, boom, that just hit you between the
Yeah.
eyes. And then he
Yeah.
comes out the next one and it does the same things
Yeah.
time after time.
Yeah.
And otherwise, he's just like, hey, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I think
that's
Billy
it.
Currington was the one who said every one of my hits is a comeback. He goes,
That's funny.
but it's true. If that
That's
wasn't
funny.
him that
Yeah.
said that, somebody said it about him. But
Yeah.
it was true. It was like,
Yeah.
oh man, Billy Currington, he's so great. Look at his last 4 songs were all number ones.
Yeah,
You
right.
just kind of,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like he's throwing it out as much as he is.
Yeah.
They're all-
Do you ever get, or I don't even know if it's even possible, do people like complete, I'm from Dothan, Alabama, and they write a song and they get it to you somehow?
I usually don't take those songs just because of them coming back and trying to sue the artist and Byron, the producer, the artist, the label. I mean, that's happened several times.
And how would they sue? What's the...
Well, they just say, "Well, I pitched that song, and that song is just like something else," and
gotcha.
yeah, just something like that. But I don't usually try to take like unsolicited, like outside. I usually work within the industry and the writers and the publishers. Now, if it's somebody that you guys are like, "Hey, really this person, I really like this
Yeah.
song, and I respect you guys and love you guys," and I would go, "Okay, I'll listen." But it's
I know that.
So
though,
many
because-
people, I was going to say, so many people call us saying, how do I get these songs heard by the artists or by the song pluggers and all that? And we're like,
I always
Well-
send it to
No
NSAI.
idea.
I always
Exactly.
say, go to
That's exactly.
nsai.org
Yes.
and
Yes,
that will
they're
tell
your
you how to
champions.
do this.
And also your, your performing rights. Get to know your, if you're ASCAP or BMI writer, get to know those guys at BMI and ASCAP because they can be huge champions for you guys.
And if you're
for
listening
guys.
and you're not one of those things,
It-
that's a call you need to make. You need to figure out how do I get in.
and what is NSAI again?
NSAI is Nashville Songwriters Association International, but you can find it just NSAI. Google it or NSAI.
Let's pull it up now. Oh, the space program. I got it. Yes, I know NSA.
They're about to
It's-
tap on the
funny.
asteroid soon.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Do you see that? We're going to send an asteroid to, a missile to hit an asteroid to try and knock it off course to practice if
the
it ever
real deal.
happens in real life.
Are you?
It's going in November.
in November?
Yeah,
oh
we're
my
do-
gosh.
Yeah, so there's
Where's this happening?
There's a
Somewhere in space.
it's thank you,
mean-
Bubba. Aren't you glad you came in? In space, it's going to happen in space. So there's an asteroid that is going to be coming nearish, not a danger, but it's close enough that it's a great practice run. So NASA is saying, or SpaceX, I don't know. I guess they're doing a collaboration or whatever. But they're going to shoot a missile. It's going to go.
Oh, wow.
15. Is it 15,000 miles an hour? Is that what?
Yes,
Oh, my
it's
gosh.
right around
Yep.
15,000 miles an hour.
and hit it and see if they can't alter the course.
Okay, that is amazing.
Of
That
this
is
thing.
so intriguing to me.
Oh,
wow.
here's a more intriguing part: is that Bubba thinks that this possibly isn't
Oh,
a test.
uh-oh.
That we really
Conspiracy?
Yeah,
we
I
really
think
have
totally.
one.
Yeah, we
coming.
we have something headed our way, so this is the cover for it. And if it works, they go, yeah, well, look, it worked. It was successful. If it
Yeah.
doesn't work, then we find out.
That's. I mean, we're going to die anyway.
Oh my God, y'all,
See,
please.
see what? Aren't you glad you came here for
Yeah,
that? Why did y'all do
Please.
that?
I mean,
Countdown is on.
I
Live
mean,
like you were dying.
we should all go out and
Tie-in. You like that?
go ride a bull.
professionals.
Go ride a bull.
The weirdest thing is the asteroid is called Fu Manchu. It's the weirdest. I don't know if that's coincidence or
I
not.
think that's the best line in that song.
It is.
I really do.
Fu
Yes.
Everybody
Manchu.
sees
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
all right.
No,
Yeah.
I always it's skydiving. It's like every single time I immediately because he sings it in a way where it's like he's falling,
Oh, I never thought of that.
and I
Yeah.
always hear the
Oh, geez,
skydiving
now,
part.
Now
I'm
I'll
never gonna not hear
I'll
it.
never not hear that now. Just like how
I
don't
leave.
How would I
without you. Yeah.
I'll tell you another song that is right up there with "Live Like You Were Dying" is "Humble and Kind,"
Yeah.
and that song was
That whole
Well,
album.
I wonder how did
that's-
Tim get a hold of that song?
Well, I don't know, but I was just gonna say. Well, from Missy.
From her, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say though that whole album was so good, and that may be Tim's most underrated album. That's the one with the cow art on it.
No.
Is that the one? Which
No.
one's the one with the cow art? That's my
Cow
favorite
art.
one.
Oh, hang
It's like
on.
got it's like real damn music or something like that.
Think
Oh, that's
Damn Country
Damn
Music.
Country Music.
Yeah, no, that's a
That
good
album
record.
I love,
well,
love,
I
love.
can't. What,
And
I
it's
don't
got,
remember
like,
what
some-
songs was on even on that
I swear
album.
it's got some cow print somewhere on there.
Oh, Live Like You. I mean, Humble and Kind was like a weekly meeting that I always go to at Universal, and the guy by the name of Travis Gordon, who's a plugger there, it was just, hey, I got this song, and it was it's a Lori McKenna song. Are you guys familiar with Lori McKenna? Just if you don't know Lori McKenna, please go get her record. Go look her up. She's an incredible songwriter. It was a poem, and it was on literally a voice recording on an iPhone, and Travis played me the voice recording of this poem of her just saying it, and she had written it for her kids. It was a poem for her kids. She has like 6 kids in Boston, but anyway, there was something. I have no idea. There was something to that song. It laid around, for a while with Tim.
I don't know how.
Cut it, and it's just like how. And sometimes when you go in a studio, you just don't know what song is going to come out, and it has the little fairy dust on it. Breathe was the same way. You go in the studio and you just think, okay, we're going to cut this, and never know how it's going to come out. But just some songs, whatever it is, the musicians connect to it. I don't know, but that song had fairy dust, the song gods, whatever, and wow.
Yeah, that was everywhere. That whole entire. I remember that was like the song of the summer, because we would be out by the pool and like every
Which
45. Humble and
Humble.
Kind.
Oh, yeah.
It was like every 45 minutes I would hear it on the radio, and I figured out why I keep thinking it's cow print on the album. I'm going to show Carson over here.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Because it looks like a
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A billboard.
Let me see.
It does look like eat more
I
chicken.
can't turn it all
Pull
the
it
way
up on
around.
my phone.
But yeah,
okay.
it looks like it looks like the cows wrote on the billboard there. See, it looks like a Chick-fil-A
It does.
billboard, and that's why in my head, baby, I
You're
see
like
little
a
cows.
very creative mind.
Oh.
I don't see
That's
cows.
her nice way of saying she doesn't see it.
I don't
You're-
see cows.
you're
Do
crazy.
you,
It looks like a
Carson? Do you see
Chick-fil-A
cows?
billboard.
You have a very,
Very
creative
creative
mind.
mind.
I'm going to use that against
that's
Bubba.
so
I'd also
Right.
like to point out the difference in her physique versus the rest of us. That maybe she isn't as familiar with Chick-fil-A
she
billboards
probably
as
is.
we are.
No, Chick-fil-A 2
Man.
days a week. Hey,
2 days a
it's-
week. When I'm cheating on my diet, I eat Chick-fil-A twice before
Well,
lunch.
I'm just telling you guys, I'm going to Photoshop a cow painting the Tim McGraw album cover, and I'm going to send it to you, and you'll be like, oh,
right.
I get it now.
I see. Yeah, I'm looking at it. That looks like a Chick-fil-A billboard.
see
See what I mean?
I mean,
Look
I
at the
can
damn
kind of
country
see
music
it.
right there.
I can kind of
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. It's
I can
eat
kinda
more
see
chicken.
it.
I get
There's
that. I'm like,
cows up on the billboard writing hate mail about chickens.
that's it. I want some Chick-fil-A sauce now.
Hey, how hard is it to get a song like in a commercial, or a film?
Well, you have people that like like with like big publishing companies and smaller independent companies, you just take a song that you love and you're going, oh, I really think this song could be great for Yellowstone. And they have people that listen specifically for sync. And you just have to find those people.
Sync means that's when you put a song in a movie or a TV
Right,
show,
yeah.
you're syncing it with video. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
a
you just do-
different feed.
yeah,
than
it's just a-
putting
Whoever
it on
does
the-
Yellowstone, by the way, is
Out of
awesome.
the park.
And
Oh, God, yeah.
So is Tim going to have any input? And I mean, maybe you would know, maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. But in the prequel that they're going to be involved in, like as far
Like
as
the
placing music.
Yeah, I mean, I probably don't need to speak to that, but I mean, I think he'll have.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
all excited.
But they
We
are. They've
all-
been. He and Faith have been at cowboy camp. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but they've been at cowboy camp.
I have seen the articles.
Oh,
That
okay,
is
great.
public.
So, okay,
yes,
but so
yes.
they're
What
at
is cowboy
cowboy
camp?
they're at cowboy camp, learning how to rope and drive a covered wagon and.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it's old. It's the pre.
Yes,
the
Yes,
1880s.
yeah, so
wow.
they have. I mean, yeah, it's rigorous.
So they're not wearing deodorant right now.
I don't
or
know,
anything.
but I don't
They're all
know.
Stanky.
But Tim posted a picture on Instagram where where the side of his jean was like where he had the gun, pulling the gun out and stuff, and it had all like gun smoke and all that on his side of his jeans.
And why do hot dudes have to do that too?
Dang.
Why can't you just go? Just
Dang.
leave it
Yeah.
at that. Like, why can't you just post a frumpy picture?
Yeah.
Like, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Because
Like,
they don't
seriously.
have those. They don't have frumpy
Yeah.
pictures.
oh, they do. They
Dude,
do.
okay, so I do a radio show with Tracy Lawrence. So Tracy comes in once a week, and we play old country
Tracy,
music.
go
And every
on.
now and I remember a couple of times Tracy would be sitting in here, and he'd just go, "Tim just texted me." And he sent me, look at this crap. And it's a picture of Tim like spear fishing, like getting out
Yeah.
of the water,
Yes.
holding up a spear with
Yeah.
a fish on it. And he's like, why you got to send me that? We get it, Tim. You can dive 25 feet, kill a fish, come up, and look like you just got out of a
Absolutely.
Calvin Klein
Klein, yes.
photo ad. But you ain't got to send that. Just send me a picture of the fish.
And he probably took that picture 15 times.
I doubt it.
No,
but maybe
no,
keep
telling
no,
yourself
no,
that.
no.
Yeah,
That's
just
probably
no.
one take.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't want to go spearfishing like that because that's too
I don't
want to
go spearfishing how he goes spearfishing.
Well, yeah,
no.
go he goes like free diving 25 feet underwater. I'm like, I can't
Chased
get that
by
far. I
sharks?
have too much buoyancy.
Oh, you're like one of those corks that you just.
Oh yeah, I get 5 feet under the water and then the whole ocean's like, spit it out. It's pushing me up.
You look like a breaching whale. Comes out,
And
you're 5 feet.
he's not spearfishing in just like okay. I mean, he's spearfishing like where like great whites
Oh yeah,
and
like in the Caribbean.
in
and
like
there's all
where
kind
there's
of-
sharks like everywhere and he was actually chased by a shark one time when he was spearfishing that he didn't know.
That's
Oh.
great.
Great story.
Hey, you know what, Tim? We got supermarkets. You can get that fish. I'm just saying, there's probably a guy in a truck on the side of the road in the Caribbean sell you that
Or
stuff.
they have these things called boats. You can sit in the
That's
boat.
true.
Yeah, and Photoshop.
Yeah.
You don't even have to take
Photoshop.
That's a whole different kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
personality. That's not for me.
well, hey, where can people find you if they want to look at your life and your personal pictures?
Then go to Instagram. Missi Gallimore? Just Missi Gallimore, Instagram.
Missy with an I.
Missy with an I.
M-I-S-S-I.
Duh,
Missi with an I.
M-I-S.
MISSIGALLIMORE. Go follow me on Instagram.
You can go
That's
ahead and
why.
plug your shop too if you want. That's
Oh.
because why not? She owns a coffee shop.
I do own a coffee shop, which is, that's just a whole nother story. But yeah, it's Coffee and Coconuts in Franklin, Tennessee. I've been there.
Do you really
4
like
years.
doing this? Because it doesn't sound like you like doing it.
Y'all just don't know me. I got my hands in so much stuff, and then now the whole management thing is like, whoa, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, that was a good idea. Like I'll build a name in A&R, and then I'll open a coffee shop and start a management company, and just
Yeah.
Do you ever get to take a break?
I make quilts too.
No, no. Oh, I will. Can I plug something?
Yeah.
I have started a lifestyle line that Sam and I kind of came up with. It's called Y'alternative.
Okay, I love
I
that.
like it.
Y'alternative.
Like,
Yeah.
already?
So
clever.
it's like the new Nashville is now like Y'alternative, and so like we still have bro country, but it's kind of like hopefully going to be shifting, and we're going to be like into this like
What'd you call it?
Y'alternative.
It's a what line?
It's I've trademarked the name, and it's called Y'alternative. So I've had hats made. I'm just now started this. So I went in and had it. The story is Sam and I were in New York, and he was taping this Vivo show, and we were walking after the Vivo show, and we were just walking around. And I said something like "Y'alternative," and Sam was like, "Oh my God, I love that." And I thought, you know what? We need to market that. We need to like trademark it and do merch and all kinds of stuff. And so I immediately went and had it trademarked, and I had noticed where CMT had inquired about the trademark, but they let it lapse.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got it. I had it trademarked, so I've got hats made, and I'm going to be doing some other like hoodies and things like
So
that.
it's a clothing line.
It's a clothing line, but it's starting with hats, and it's Y'alternative USA on Instagram, and you can buy hats.
Y'alternative USA. And
Trucker hats.
Are you going to do shirts and stuff? Or
Yep,
just,
I'm going to do shirts.
are you going to do
and
3X?
We need
3X?
some big shirts.
I will get you a big shirt. I will send you guys hats. How about that? I'm going to
Okay.
send you guys some alternative hats.
That's a nice way of saying we don't have enough
Guys, I
to
will
make
send
you a shirt.
I will send you
I
hats
don't have
and socks.
shirts yet. I just started with trucker hats just to see
Hats,
how
socks,
people would respond.
gloves.
Yeah.
Those are the
Socks.
things we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
People
get a
send
lot.
us
Well,
socks
that
because
is
they know I can't
super
wear their
cute.
T-shirt.
Do you see it?
I do.
Yes.
Show
Isn't that
that's
cute?
cute.
Show the camera. I want to see
Show
what it
the
looks
camera,
like.
Carson.
Am I holding it up right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tweak it a little bit. That's just the first run. And there's some tweaking.
Yeah, but I like
that'll
it's that 70s trucker hat look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
It's hard to see it. And it says Y'alternative on it.
yes,
That
it
was-
says
okay.
the alternative.
It's embroidered too. That is not cheap. That's a quality item.
I will get you guys one.
Carson,
Right into
Let's go
QVC
QVC,
mood.
Carson.
Okay.
Go,
All
give
right.
it to us. Hold it up
Missy,
to the
stand
phone.
by. Here you go. Here's
QVC
QVC Carson.
The new alternative lifestyle brand. This was the brainchild of someone from Music Row. She has a history in the industry and then working with one of her artists. Just, this comes from an authentic place and you can feel like you're part of Nashville even if you haven't gotten to experience Music City yet. The embroidery is top quality. You know that it's not going to fall off with washings. You can wear it out in the rain because when you go to your favorite country festival, sometimes the weather doesn't cooperate.
Come on.
Preach, girl, preach.
Oh, I love QVC Carson. This is one of my favorites.
Carson, I love
do
you.
that. I'm telling you, how did Carson not work for QVC?
I know it.
It's unbelievable. She can just wing that stuff. Just keep going and going. It's so great.
That's how we're going to lose Carson. She's going to walk in. She's going to go,
no doubt.
well, I've got an offer from QVC. We're going to be
and
like,
none of us are going to be upset. We're going to be like,
go,
girl.
run, girl.
And you have
thing.
that
Go
voice.
fly,
You just
Sparrow.
have that voice that
Oh, I
works.
know. She-
Oh, yeah, it
God.
sounds like she was raised in Connecticut.
God.
She was. The rest of us are all like,
Wait, how long have you been here in Nashville?
Moved here in 2003.
Oh,
So it's been
yeah,
a hot minute,
It's
but
been a
yeah.
hot minute. Yep.
yeah, Bubba and I are from the swamp, and Dee's from east of here, where he can't say Hill or Vince Gill. But Carson,
Gill. I say Vince Gill.
Vince Gill. Yeah.
Gill and heel.
Faith
Man.
Heel.
Gill and
And that's the
Hill.
only thing I say. I really don't say anything else
No, you don't.
hillbilly-ish except for
No,
heel.
it comes out of
You
heel.
actually can say hill for hillbilly, but you can't say heel.
Heel.
I don't say
Joe
heel.
loves the
Gill.
Hillbilly.
I'll say Gill.
Hillbilly's fine. That's so weird. So I can say hillbilly, but
you
I can't say
go
heel.
up that heel.
Right. What is that?
I can't
Wait,
say
say that?
I can't for the love of God. If I say I'm going to the store, I can say it. But if I said I think I have something in my eye, and my Cajun just comes out. It's just that one word. It just.
Where are you
all the
from?
time.
Like what
I'm
part?
from New Iberia, Louisiana, where
Where-
they make Tabasco sauce next to the swamp. That's where I'm from.
Is that from? So.
South of Lafayette,
Okay.
10 miles from the coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Tim's from Ruston.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, Tim's from Ruston. Yeah. Or,
he is from
or
Ruston?
somewhere in North Louisiana.
No, he's from Louisiana, but I
I thought it was from.
No. It's
No,
a little
it's
town
near
outside
Ruston.
of Ruston. I
It's,
can't remember. the
Gosh,
name
what's a
of it.
small town outside of Ruston? Piggly Wiggleyville.
Piggly Wiggly. All right, do not hate on Piggly Wiggly. That is my. I love Piggly
Man,
Wiggly.
and listen, I'm from Cookville. Like I know Piggly Wiggly.
Is there still Piggly Wigglies around?
Yes,
One
Cookville
on
there
West
is.
End in Nashville.
A friend of mine in college got
This-
to dress up as the pig because that was her
God,
weekend
Piggly
job.
Wiggly,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. This
Love
says
Piggly Wiggly.
Tim is from Delhi. I don't think
I thought
he
it was
was
from Stark.
Monroe.
Start.
No, he's
No.
Louisiana.
Stark,
But
yeah.
there was another thing that
That's
said
it.
Delhi. I'm like, no, because if he was from Delhi, there'd be a sign. And I've been to Delhi, and there's no sign. All they
You mean
got is a
sign?
sign.
You mean sawing?
A sign.
You got a sign.
There's a sign
Delhi.
outside the Delhi
By the room.
by the room.
No,
the
Missy,
room.
But you don't have a real Cajun
I
accent.
don't. No,
you
I
really
can hide
don't.
it.
You
20
should hear his
years
mom.
of talking on the radio, but if my mama called me right now, Misha, I'd fall into that. Quick,
You would
yeah.
fall into
oh,
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it comes out all the
Or
time. I can't
alcohol.
do nothing about that. If you
When
give me
you're
some
around
whiskey,
mom or alcohol,
5
it
or 6
just-
whiskey
yeah.
Patrick, 5 whiskey Patrick show up, he talk like that.
We can always
much
tell
louder.
We can always tell go. Oh,
But
gee,
louder. Thank you, Carson. It's true. 5 whiskey
He'll
Patrick
come in
does
on a
not
Monday.
have volume control.
He'll come in on a Monday. I'll be like, "Oh, I see you went home for the weekend." He's got white shrimp boots on.
Got him up
Is
in
that
the back
pig?
of the truck, in between the cab and the bed.
Is that pig crap on your white shrimp and
Yeah, what
boots?
does that
Yeah,
smell?
that's not. I was at the pig farm. The pig barn. You know.
God.
You know, the best part about Piggly Wiggly, if I may, is when you walk back into the meat section.
No, you gotta.
And they have the ham. It's the salted ham, and it's hanging in that white mesh looking, almost looks like pantyhose, and it's hanging heavy. And you walk by, and it's on this some sort of like a wooden hook of some sort. And you go by, and you
ever
just
been to Piggly Wiggly?
and you just caress it, and you just kind of run your hand up and down
No,
it.
stop.
And then you smell your hand. Smells like
like smoked
salt.
meat.
It's like salt and ham, and and you just
We love Piggly Wiggly.
oh, so good.
I thought it was fake until I went
and
to
then,
college in Mississippi.
and y'all remember?
I want to stop. Carson just said she thought Piggly Wiggly was something they made up and Driving Miss Daisy. She didn't even know that was a real
I
thing.
didn't. I thought it was
Carson
fake.
watching Driving Miss Daisy thinking to herself, that's a stupid name for a fake supermarket. Who would call a supermarket Piggly
Piggly
Wiggly?
I
Wiggly.
remember when
Did
I
you
was a
wa-
little kid, I watched Close Encounters, and they had a Piggly Wiggly semi, and I was like, ooh! And I thought it was so crazy that they used a local store.
Yep.
A local store. No, it's not a local store. They were
What are you gonna say?
everywhere.
What about Pig? What are you gonna? You had a Piggly Wiggly memory.
No, I just love. No, I don't. I just
okay.
love
We call them
Piggly
Piggly
Wiggly.
memories.
The pig.
Yeah,
Piggly
Friend Heather in
memories.
college worked at the pig.
yeah.
Oh, is that the pig?
That's what she called it. She worked
Works
at the pig.
All right. That was fun.
That was fun. Missy, thank you for coming in. It was so fun to hear all the stories and behind the
I
scenes
have
stuff.
stories for days.
I know.
Billy Cheryl's story, really quick. I have to say this because
Yeah.
it's such an
So
iconic.
if anyone's listening that doesn't know, Billy
Yes.
Cheryl was a super famous producer and A&R man who made not only a bunch of George Jones, Sam Wynette records, but like what most people consider
Charlie
the greatest country song of all time, or the greatest recording, which is "He Stopped Loving Her Today." That was Billy Cheryl. So okay, go
Stand
on.
by Your Man.
Yes,
And then the Charlie Rich song. What was that Charlie Rich song?
Behind Closed
beautiful
Doors.
girl.
Oh,
Behind
the
Closed
most
Doors.
beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And Behind Closed Doors. Yes. But anyway.
So that was your first job out of college.
That
right?
was my first job. Just remember like getting a call from his assistant at the time. I had nothing about country music whatsoever. This is just a funny story. I love Billy, and I just remember this so vividly, and I miss that man because he was just always so protective of me. He would tell me like, "You stay away from Johnny Rodriguez. Don't you dare talk to Johnny Rodriguez." And if David Allen Coe comes in here with his 5 wives, do not look at him. Do not pay him any attention. He was, but
You're gonna
anyway.
become number 6, and
Yeah.
we don't need that around
And
here.
so he's like, okay, I want you to come in and talk to me. And I'm like, okay. So it was like 6:00 in the evening. It was on Music Row, and it was all these old houses. You know, Music Row has all these awesome old houses. And I'm thinking, oh goodness, what have I gotten into, these houses? So I park it. It's Major Bob Music now. It used to be called Al Gallico Music, and that's where Billy had his studio. So I walked upstairs, and Billy's in there, and Billy was just so eccentric. That's what made him so brilliant. But he offered me a glass of champagne, and I'm thinking, oh, Lord, what have I gotten in myself into? And he's like, I want to play you something. And he puts it on, and it was a Charlie Rich song that he had just cut on Charlie Rich. And I was thinking, what is this? And he's like, do you like this? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't. I don't really know anything about country. And he's like, you're hired.
I like that.
And then
Because
he
you told him
hired
the
me.
truth. Was it because you told him the
I
truth?
told him the truth.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
exactly.
oh, I don't know. I don't really like it, but I don't like country either. But
I want to tell this
Yeah.
story,
Which
just
is
real
so
quick.
crazy that you went from that to being someone who's so
I know.
influential.
I
knows
know.
country.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's a story, and I don't know how much of this is apocryphal, but Reba had been in town for almost 10 years making records, and she finally started to have hits in the early 80s. And she'd always wanted to record a Harlan Howard song, and she'd never gotten to. Because Harlan Howard was such a big deal, he'd save his best songs for the, for the people who were making him money. So Reba was finally big enough to get a meeting with him, and she went and sat down in his office, and he played her a song, and she didn't like it. He said, "What'd you think of that?" And she goes, "I have to be honest with you. I don't think I can cut that. I don't think that's going to work for me." And he goes, "Okay." And he played her a second song, and it was worse than the first one. And she goes, "I don't think I can cut that." And he goes, "Good job, honey. Those are stinkers. I just wanted to see if you would tell me the truth." And then he pulled a song out of the drawer, and it was "Somebody Should Leave." He played that for her.
Gosh.
And then and she goes, "Can I have that one? That's the only one I wanted you to hear."
It's just like, okay, but that's what we'll end on this. That's just what I miss so much now is the camaraderie and the how just back you just don't find those songs anymore. I would probably fall out of my chair if somebody walked in the room and played me Wichita Lineman.
Yeah.
Glenn Campbell.
Yeah,
Wichita
okay.
Lineman. I would like,
I get that.
oh
I get that. But also, how many Wichita Lineman songs are there?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think there's a lot of those?
No.
Okay,
Oh my
then.
God.
I mean,
No,
then
but-
it's not fair to say that you which one would happen today and
Well,
and
as you talked
today
about-
is
you
terrible.
don't hear those songs today. You don't. Somebody should leave. You don't.
Yeah.
I don't. You don't hear
But
those
you were just
songs.
talking about Humble and Kind. I mean,
Okay, y'all are really like.
See?
no, they're still there. So I think we shouldn't be down on ourselves. Those songs are still out there, and they're still being brought
Well,
to us
where
every
are
day.
they? Where are they? Because I sure as heck have not heard Humble and Kind
you're
since
right.
Humble and Kind was written. So I don't know. I just wish. I miss the camaraderie, and I think it's getting back a little bit, but I just miss how it was. And I wasn't around a lot of that because that was kind of like before my time. But it's just, the writers and the like the Chris Christophersons and what you read, how the Chris Christophersons and the Johnny Cash, and that was before my time. But how they're, and the Waylon and the Willie and how we're all just so close. But I feel like it is kind of getting back to that a little bit with some of the artists around.
I think it all balances itself
And
out.
I was going to say too that in a weird way, I think with your argument is that people are so worried about trying to get the next hit when back then they were just looking for songs they liked. And
But that's apocryphal though, because they were looking for the next hit too.
You say
but
this
they
word.
recorded.
No,
You used it twice, and
Okay,
twice I
If
don't
you
know what
say
you're
it
saying.
three
No.
times, does Beetlejuice appear?
No, here's the thing. No. I feel
Oh my
like
bad, apocryphal.
no. I feel like people are chasing. They're chasing the next thing, and you should not be chasing the next thing. You should just be writing from your heart and real songs, and quit chasing. Don't ever
Don't chase it.
Don't
That's right.
chase it.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used
Yeah.
to.
Now that could wait. You got something? Somebody write that down.
I always
It
hated
feels
that
like
song.
a hit.
I hated that song because I always felt like that, to me, was telling people, don't reach out and expand yourself. Stay where you're at. Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Never. Well, that can go both ways. I could say never stay in your lane, but there's a lot of times where you do have to kind of like stay in your lane.
You got to
But,
pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
Well, this has
This was
been
a
fun.
different podcast, and that was
It was
fun.
quite apocryphal.
Very, very
I don't know.
appropriate.
Here's how I know we went for a long time, because I didn't remember saying it the first time. So that's how I know
Really?
it's
It
been a
was
little while.
2 minutes
It was
before.
like, 5 minutes earlier. You said
Man,
it.
don't look at me
It's
and
like
get on me
it's
for my
when- it's
memory.
when
He
you
can't
started-
remember something he said 5 days ago.
So when you
5
started the
minutes ago.
Reba
I
story,
remember. What?
Oh, I did. Oh, wow. I said it at the beginning. Okay, I'm an idiot.
feel like you're
Okay.
hypnotized
I don't know
right
any other good words. Okay, that's a good word.
Missy, thank you.
Oh my God! Thank you guys. This is fun.
Hope you had fun. Hope you
I
had
do.
fun.
I love talking about songs, and it's still a passion for me. And I still get excited when publishers call and go, "Oh my God, I have a great song. I got to come play it for you. Where are you? I'm going to come track you down. Where are you?" That gets me excited.
There is full transparency. We have you here on the podcast. We want you to hear one song that was written
No,
by
are you
us.
joking?
No, and we're about to play it.
I'm about to play it.
Are you
Is this
ready?
it? Oh my God! No,
Wait,
Carson, please help me.
No.
I want you to be.
You're gonna love this.
I think
This is a hit.
Now, just be honest, okay?
Oh,
And
boy.
just listen.
Before we do that, and,
And look at all that canvas you got right there.
Throw in that extra.
This
gold.
was the
Here you
podcast,
go.
but now it's over. But that's okay,
Yeah.
'cause you can listen to the regular show on the radio every day.
You see, you even figured it out.
It's the podcast.
You figured out the words before. That's
What
tells
a
you
hit
it's
song!
a hit.
It's a hit.
It's a hit. It's catchy.
Yeah.
It's a chorus. It's got a hit chorus to it.
I know the writer. I hear he's cute.
Oh.
Just saying.